those aerial shots were taken, and I just, it just seems like it's so somber, and people just get speechless.
Yeah. Now, do you think something like this could happen nowadays? I had a debate with someone about this for probably like an hour, going back and forth. Now, my thoughts on it are yes. I feel like something like this could happen nowadays, but I want your opinion on it as well. And Tristan, you too.
I think 100% yes. I think as long as we have people who are desperate and looking for purpose, looking for something, looking for connection. I mean, we live in a time that is so disconnected from each other, but yet we're the most connected that we've ever been, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
And you get so many people who are looking for community and looking for a group of people and a family, if you will. And so many of these, cults are really good at love bombing and bringing people in and making them feel special and included. I mean, I definitely could see something like this happening.
Tristan, what do you think?
Oh, I completely agree. I feel like it's scary to think about with how individualistic we've become in more modern society, I guess. But I mean, people are always willing to like relinquish themselves to someone they believe that has all the answers. It's just like this innate thing in people to always look to a leader. And if you're frustrated, especially like in the time period that was going on then, it's, I think, a little bit easier, which is why a lot of things pop up around that time is the world was very unstable. So it's really easy to look for answers somewhere else. I mean, but the thing is, like, the world has never really been stable. We kind of put on rose-colored goggles about today, but I mean, it's still not stable. So I think it's super duper easy for people to believe in someone who has all these good ideals. Because I mean, look at Jim Jones. Like the start of it, it was super super good. Like, all these people are coming together. They're from all these different backgrounds and races and ages. Like, they're talking about all these like socialistic kind of ideals of just like, let's be a community, let's help each other. I mean, that appeals to absolutely everybody until you start putting it, into practice. And I feel like that's the type of thing that it's probably going on right now, to be honest with you. It just hasn't blown up yet.
Oh, of course. And I mean, cults are happening all the time. I mean, I knew, a guy who I grew up with who ended up in Asheville, North Carolina on some commune, right? He lived with a group of other people is what I was told. Okay, so a cult? Yes. Yeah, because he was living, in like the mountains. And, there's so many, and we talk about Jonestown because that is one of the biggest, and so many other cults have followed in some of their footsteps, and I think has used this as almost a textbook for how to run their cults. That they're all around, and there's so many more than people, have no idea about. And I have read stories about things that are honestly way more terrifying than Jonestown. If I can be totally not that Jonestown was not a tragedy and was not terrible, but people are capable of doing awful things. And and when you throw in, these tactics that you know what to do, you isolate someone, you take them away from their support system, you make them tired, you take their whole paycheck, so they have to depend on you. You take them away from, if they have children, you take them away from everything they know and love, and you don't allow them any way out. I mean, I definitely, this happens more, and I think it's even harder to detect nowadays and how big scale some of these things are, because I mean, I can sit on my computer and connect with people across the world and never leave my living room who can share my views, how skewed those views may be. So if they're planning something that we do online, we can do that, and no one would have no idea how big scale it is.
Well, that's actually, I want to bring that up real quick, is that I feel like you're probably right. It's probably something that is happening right now, but I feel like to get 1,000 people to move to a completely different country, thousands of miles away, I think is a hard thing to sell, and it takes a certain person to do that. So I think that's the only challenging part, and I